give up, want to feel more energized, strong, driven, check it out, mdriveformen.com, only supplement I take. There's a lot of discussions for years about who's the greatest of all time, and I want to go to my friend Chris Broussard, Fox Sports NBA analyst, who's joining me now live. I'm going to put it this way. How about if I just said this? Michael is a better version of Kobe, and LeBron is a better version of Magic. And that means Michael and LeBron are 1-2. We can all argue over it, but their games are not the same. For a long time, I thought Magic was number 2 to Michael. LeBron's a better version of Magic, and Michael is a better version of Kobe. Is that fair?
That's very fair. I actually would agree with that. That's right on the money. Kobe was exactly like Michael Jordan, except not quite as good. He was like a facsimile of Jordan, but not as good as the original. LeBron is not as much like Magic as Kobe is like Michael, but he's very similar. He's a pass-first guy, but not quite the passer that Magic was. I mean, Magic was an out-of-this-world passer, much better than LeBron and anybody else that ever played the game. But LeBron is a better scorer than Magic. He's more athletic. He's a better defender. But they both made their teammates better. Obviously, Magic had great talent with him from day one with Kareem and then James Worthy later on and other great players. But even when Kareem was done, Magic carried that team to the finals.
Yeah.
You know, with Vlade Divac and some other guys that weren't, you know, Hall of Fame type players other than James Worthy. So they're very similar to that. But we still have to answer the question. We can't stop it there. Okay, you want to pull a Jeff Van Gundy and say, well, one has a better career, but one's a better player, one's the GOAT. No, we still have to settle it. And right now, it was great last night what LeBron did. I would take nothing away from him. It edges him a little bit closer, but he's still number 2, and Michael Jordan is number 1.
By the way, though, isn't it more impressive? It's one thing, and I'll make this argument. Michael needed Scottie and Phil. LeBron just needs a ball. He won with a wing. He won with a point guard. He won with a big. He won with 4 different coaches. Is that Michael needed things to work, or he couldn't even get to the finals. LeBron doesn't need anything.
Well, I have often said if LeBron had a historic coach, and all the guys he's compared to had either Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, or Greg Popovich. LeBron didn't have any of those guys. If he had one of those, I do think he'd have more championships. And maybe then the discussion would be reversed and he'd be viewed as the GOAT by most people. But let's remember this too. Phil Jackson was not Phil Jackson when he went to Michael Jordan. Okay, he was just some guy who had coached the Albany Patroons and was a favorite of Jerry Krause. That's it. So Michael Jordan played a large role in making Phil Jackson who he was. And then once Jordan gave him the sign-off and said, he's the only coach I want to play for, now that makes it easier for Phil to coach Shaq and Kobe and you know, guys going forward because he's got that respect and credibility. So I also say this. I've always said that LeBron, even more than Michael, LeBron could take a lesser group of players and lift them higher. But LeBron's had trouble getting those teams over the hump. When he's won championships, he's been stacked. I mean, in Miami, he had 2 Hall of Famers the first championship, 3 Hall of Famers the second championship as teammates. Of course, he won it with Kyrie and Love. Kyrie will be a Hall of Famer probably if he stays healthy. Love, maybe. And then this time he's got Anthony Davis, and Rajon Rondo might be a Hall of Famer. So let's not act like LeBron has just carried anybody to championships. He can carry anybody to deep playoff runs, occasionally the finals, but to win it, he's needed big-time help too.
We used to kind of roll our eyes when people would say LeBron's going to play with Bronny. He's going to play with his son. And now I'm like, he's going to play through his son's first free agency. When you look at Father Time and LeBron, he's going to be the first or second best. He's going to be the best player in the league next year, right? Like, we're acknowledging that, right? Next year he'll be the best player in the league again.
He certainly starts the season as that. You know, I mean, we'll see. Does he diminish as time goes on? But yes, when the season starts, LeBron James will be the best player, no question about it.
Wow. So let's go back to the Kareem and Magic thing. Do you think, you have a lot of sources in the league. I do think LeBron's really smart about scaling. Like Tom Brady chose Tampa Bay because they had more weapons. He didn't have to carry them. I do think, I wonder if LeBron sits down with Frank Vogel and Rob Pelinka this offseason. And LeBron's never been a guy that ducks games. But do you think the conversations will begin like, listen, AD can play 76, I'm going to play 70, that LeBron at least starts to understand? Because I think the bubble showed me one thing, that when LeBron doesn't have to be in an airplane constantly, his energy is through the roof. I've never seen him this energized in 5 or 6 years. And I wonder, I guess what I'm asking you is, did the bubble perhaps, because LeBron's a thinking man's player, does LeBron look at this bubble and think, man, when I don't have to be on planes, my energy is, I got more energy than Jimmy Butler at the end.
Right.
I wonder if this bubble, LeBron sits back there in his rubber ducky in his swimming pool out in the, Pacific Palisades, and he's like, maybe I should start playing 62 games. Seriously, I wonder if LeBron thinks about that.
No, look, I don't think he'll ever do the load management Kawhi style. But I could see 70 games, somewhere between 70 and 76 games. I think that makes a lot of sense. I also think, Colin, one thing I noticed during the bubble and especially in the finals, LeBron James was great in the system that the Lakers were running, but he wasn't the system. And for the bulk of his career, he has been the system where he is creating everything. He's getting the assist, the bucket, or the hockey assist. And this year, he was more playing within the system. AD was, dominant at times. Rajon Rondo was running the offense. There were possessions when LeBron didn't touch the ball, and I think that's great. I actually think that if LeBron had been a part of the system throughout his career, he'd probably have more championships because it's tougher for other guys that can really do their thing to play when LeBron's the system. And you just got to kind of fit in around him. But my point is, I brought that up because I think that will be less taxing on him, too. If he plays this way going forward, he's the point guard, he's running the show, he's getting everybody involved, but everything doesn't revolve around LeBron. They run through AD. When Rondo's in there, LeBron can play off the ball. That will put less strain on him physically and mentally, and I think that'll help him stay elite for a longer period of time as well.
So you have Michael 1, LeBron 2. Is Magic your third best player ever?
Kareem 3, Magic 4. And I saw something a while ago about Kawhi being 5, but I can't go there.
That was on my show. All right, I got LeBron and Michael tied at 1. I got Magic 3.
Ooh.
I got Kareem 4, Wilt 5, Kobe 6, Bird 7, Akeem 8, Shaq 9, Duncan 10. Did I miss anybody? I didn't see Oscar Robertson play. That's not fair. That's not.
Yeah, that's a good 10. That's a good 10. I'm surprised. So you got, I don't like leaving this show with a tie between Jordan and LeBron. I mean, come on.
I didn't see Oscar Robertson play or Bill Russell, so it's hard for me to make a judgment. I know Russell's in everybody's 10, but...
Yeah, you didn't have Russell in there. The 11 rings are crazy. I know he only averaged 15 points and 22 rebounds, 44% shooting from the floor. So he wasn't... His individual numbers outside of the rebounds and blocks aren't crazy, but the 11 rings is hard to turn down.
Okay, you got...
I would have to put Russell in the top 10.
All right. I put Akeem one slot ahead of Shaq because I saw him play each other, and Akeem gave Shaq fits.
Ooh.
I know. It sounds crazy.
That was a young Shaq.
It was not pretty. Shaq acknowledged, I can't cover him. Akeem gave Shaq problems. All right, we got to get out of it. I just sit and talk this thing all day. He looks so professional. Chris Broussard, we'll bring him on. You'll talk to us soon. Thanks, buddy.
All right, my man.
He and Rob Parker have a great radio show on Fox Sports Radio. Yeah, I was jotting things down listening to Chris. Yeah. Michael and LeBron, they're just, I think they've just separated from everybody. They've separated from the field.
I think everyone's top 10 list kind of varies. Once you get past the top 2, it's a matter of preference, who you watched, what kind of
I
style
just
you
think
like.
comparing Michael and LeBron is like, it's like comparing chocolate ice cream and cottage cheese. They're both dairy.
Ugh, cottage cheese is awful.
What's I'm saying? They're both dairy, but
well, like
they're
it's like comparing
different.
chocolate ice cream and like
Yogurt.
no,
don't
like
like
chocolate
yogurt?
cake. Like what's better? They're both amazing.
I think they're both basketball players, but I look at Michael and I don't see anything resembling LeBron.
Okay, so you're saying they're both different.
Again, they're both in the same industry, but they're just so. I look at Michael and I see Kobe. I look at LeBron and I
Yeah.
see a stronger version of Magic. I don't see LeBron and Michael as the same guy.